Claiborne Hancock, you are republishing Alexandre Dumas' Last Cavalier, and this is a missing manuscript, I understand, right?
It is. I wouldn't say republishing. We are the first publisher to be publishing the book in English. The book was published in French 2 years ago and was a huge bestseller for Éditions Pegasus in Paris. They sold 250,000 copies in France, and for that market, it's a very big deal. And we acquired the World English rights, and we're publishing the book in September, so we're just thrilled.
Wow, and I just looked up the cover, and the cover is just wonderful.
Yes, the plot line revolves around a French aristocrat who has been denied the honor of his family and the woman he loves, and Napoleon forces him to go into the imperial forces to serve as a common soldier. And throughout, it's a very big book, 800 pages. And but the main character, Count Saint-Hermine, he is always trying to get back to Paris to enact his revenge on Napoleon. And so we figured that, considering the novel does take place during the Napoleonic era, we should have Napoleon on the front cover.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's a sumptuous image, I think.
It is. It's a wonderful. Well, now, how did you discover this book? You say it was published in France by
Éditions Pegasus.
Uh-huh.
They're a literary press. They're one of the major houses in Paris.
Right.
And the book came about. The most famous Dumas scholar and biographer is a fellow named Claude Chop, and he was in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. It was about 15 years ago, and he was always doing research on Dumas, a number of different projects, and he found an excerpt from what appeared to be the first chapter of a longer work. And the novel was originally serialized in a Parisian newspaper in 1869, and Dumas died later that year, and the book was never put together in book form. It took him 15 years to piece together the manuscript, put it all together in the proper way.
Good gracious.
Edit the book and then have it published by Pegasus just 2 years ago. So it took almost 20 years to get the project to press. So he called it one of the most exciting moments of his life when he discovered the first chapter in the library and started piecing the novel together.
And so that came out in 2005, I believe?
It did.
Uh-huh. And what made you interested in this book, in bringing this book to America?
I've always felt that Dumas is still very much a part of our popular culture. It seems every few years a new movie is made from either The Three Musketeers or The Count of Monte Cristo. I think his storytelling abilities resonate as strongly now as they did back in his own time.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think, along with Victor Hugo, he's one of France's greatest literary talents, and I think people will respond very well to the book.
Oh, yes, yes. In 1993, they made The Three Musketeers, and in 2002, they made The Count of Monte Cristo. Do you think that you'll have some movie interest?
That's a wonderful question. I haven't even begun that process. Of course, Pegasus doesn't control the film rights, but we will start. Actually, that's not true. There was one movie critic who wrote in requesting a galley. He lives out in Los Angeles. And so I think as the reviews start coming in, because again, Dumas is so popular on screen, and this novel has the same epic qualities of those other stories, so I think it would be a perfect fit for the large screen.
Oh, how exciting. That's so exciting. And so is it, let's see, you say you have a September pub date?
September 12th is our lay-down date, so it should be a fairly big deal. We talked to lots of media, a lot of the major publications here in New York and in Washington and Los Angeles. Everyone seems very much on board as far as covering the novel. So I think this will be our biggest book as far as our critical reception.
Oh, that's great. And Claiborne, you started the house in, I believe, 2005, right?
That is correct.
And how many books are you planning to come out with, or how many books have you already?
Our first book came out in April of last year, April of 6th. We have published about 40 books so far.
Wow.
And we are planning, and we're doing 3 books a month on average, at least one hardcover each month. It seems to be the proper number for us as far as the editorial work we do in the books and then the promotional side of things. It just seems we probably sell at least close to 40 books a year.
That is just wonderful. And what categories are you publishing?
We are publishing lots of fiction, as you know from our Dumas novel, some commercial fiction as well as some literary fiction. And then the other part of our list is composed of history and biography and some memoir. We've just published Catherine Deneuve's memoirs just this month, which is doing quite well for us. And we've also just started an imprint here at Pegasus called ISIS, and it is our health and pop psychology line of books.
Huh.
And we'll publish about a half dozen books in that imprint each year.
That is just wonderful. Well, you've done very well, Claiborne, in these first few years, and we are looking forward to a lot of other excitement from your house, Pegasus. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. Well, thank you for your interest. We really appreciate it.